What is your opinion on TED Talks as native speaker content? They always got a very decent transcript. And this guy is talking about TED Talks as content for input, obviously, for listening or watching. And my opinion, and he's asking for my opinion is that I don't really like them. Not because they're bad for language learning, simply I don't enjoy the content. TED Talks have, obviously it depends on the subject and it depends on who's speaking, right? But they all tend to have the same format and the same cadence. When I was a child, I was told that I couldn't do this and this, but then I discovered blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to talk to you about it for 17 minutes. They always have the same, same speech patterns, same format of some short personal story or some question in the beginning and I really don't enjoy listening to that. Now, if you enjoy listening to that, yeah, it's decent content for language learning. Again, only if you know the most common verbs, nouns, and adjectives, if you know enough vocabulary. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. If you want to learn a language, or if you want to get more listening practice by listening to TED Talks, I highly recommend learning all the common words, all the most common words first, with mnemonics and example sentences and lots of reviewing, and then get the transcript of the TED Talk and get the vocabulary list of the transcript with something like browser link and review the vocab list before you watch or listen to the talk so that you know the words. Because otherwise, and I get a lot of questions, there's going to be more questions about this later on. I get a lot of questions about this vocabulary with content. You should always review the vocab before you watch or listen to the content, because otherwise you're going to be stopping and looking up words and then stopping again 5 minutes later or 30 seconds later. And it really makes it slow and inefficient as well, but also much less enjoyable. But if instead you've reviewed the vocab list beforehand, it's going to be much easier to understand. You will not have to pause it and look up words, and it's going to be much more enjoyable and also more effective because, again, not only the learning is more effective because you understand more, it's also the fact that you'll be able to do it longer because it's more enjoyable, all right? So review the vocab first. And this is, by the way, if I remember correctly, Paul Nation also always says that you should first review the vocab. I was already doing this, but then I think once I read his book and watched a couple of interviews and presentations by him, he always talks about getting exposed to the vocab, reviewing the vocab before watching or listening to the content or reading the content, right? So vocab first. But yeah, TED Talks, if you're into it, they're fine.